happening, sports fans? It's your man, Matt from the DFS 5-pack. I am rocking it solo. It is Saturday, January 15th. I'm here to talk some NBA with you guys. We got a full day of sports going on. College basketball, full slate of games. We got 9 NBA games to talk over. And obviously the NFL playoffs start today. So wanted to get on here and make the NBA video earlier. Just going to do one video free to the public. Going to get through it short and sweet, even with 9 games. Before I dive into the slate, however, I'm going to shout out our promoters. First off, you guys know the deal by now. When you sign up and join Jazz Sports, you get a no-risk wager up to $1,000 in your first bet. That's $1K back if your first wager is graded a loss. It's just foolish not to at least take a look at this offer. The promo code's 5-pack. The link will be in the description section of the video. And then Loose Lines. Loose Lines is an affiliate of Jazz Sports. They offer really good lines and odds over there, reduced juice, and a ton of other really cool perks. When you sign up at Loose Lines, you get 50% off your first deposit, So, again, just makes too much sense to go over there and check these deals out. The links will be in the description section. The promo code for both is 5-pack. And with that out of the way, let's talk some hoops. So, like I said, 9 games, but going to get through this quickly because I think it's a pretty easy slate to break down. All righty, so starting off, we got Portland and Washington. So from the Wizards side, Bradley Beal's out. So with Beal being out, Dinwiddie becomes or remains a great play. Price up a little bit, and he's not coming off a really good game, much more solid than spectacular, but he's still too cheap at $6,800 for his role with Beal out. And in a great spot against Portland, I like him quite a bit. Other guys on Washington, like Kuzma, who's been balling, more tournament plays. I like him less with Harrell back in the mix because Harrell and Gafford, split all the center minutes, whereas before Kuzma was getting some of the backup center run. Clearly that hasn't stopped him, however, as he continues to ball. He's their number 1 scorer now with Beal out, so I have no arguments with anyone who wants to play Kuzma, just probably not where I land. Hard to want to spend a center spot or use a center spot on Harrell, but really affordable at $4,500. Should play 24 to 25 minutes here, 20 to 25 minutes. And at this price point, it should not be hard for him to walk into value. If he somehow gets 30 minutes, which is rare but can happen, he's got monster upside, as we've seen many times already this season. All right, from the Portland side, they're still missing Dame, CJ, Norm Powell, Larry Nance, and Cody Zeller still out. But Simons is back in the mix. So really for Portland, it's all about Nurk and Simons for me. Simons had been balling before he missed only 1 game for personal reasons. I'm a huge Simons fan. Has really come into his own this year, while CJ and Dame have been out. At 7,200 in a fine spot against Washington, I see no reason why he wouldn't be right on top of the short list in all formats. Again, a lot of good plays on the slate. Already talked about Dinwiddie. Not going to say Simons is like a must play in all formats, but I like him a lot. And if I were making one lineup, he'd probably be in it. And then Nurk. 2 mediocre games. The past 2 games, lost a ton of run in a blowout in Denver and wasn't very good against Brooklyn. But we've read this book before. We know how good Nurk can be with those guys out. And there's still a ton of upside at his $7,800 price tag. I like him a lot if you want more Portland exposure. And then Ben McLemore, price increase probably takes me off him, but given his current role, you could do worse at $4,800. I'll say that. All right, Knickerbockers and Hawks. Hawks lost the tough one last night in Miami. Sorry about that. They were winning most of that. They were winning the game for the majority of it after they got down early in the first quarter. No Cam Reddish anymore from Atlanta. Clint Capella is questionable. Trae Young has not been great the past 3 games. I could see him balling here. We know he's done it against the Knicks before, but I don't think I'll use a guard spot 9,900 on him. The real guy from Atlanta is going to be DeAndre Hunter. Looks like one of, if not the best value play on the slate. 3K flat. Hunter's good. I mean, there's no reason for him to be this cheap. Finally back in the mix. Has played two games in a row now. Played 30 minutes last night. Assuming he's right back in the starting lineup, I see no reason not to like Hunter again at this price point. As far as the Knicks go, Rose and Walker are out. No Cam Reddish yet. I think Burks is fine, but really it's all about Julius for me. 8,600, still very cheap for who he is, for who we know he can be. Like him quite a bit. I just think he's too cheap. You know, we've seen this with guys like Shai and Ingram the past couple of weeks where their prices have gone down and now they're back up. I think we'll see Randall back in the mid-9s, by next week. So I want to get on him while he's still in the mid-8s. Other than that, this game is not a priority for me. Pels and Nets, no Kyrie, but both Harden and Durant are in. With both of them in, kind of takes me off the entire Nets team completely. If you want to get to Harden or Durant, do your thing. I prefer Harden slightly, but also probably harder to get to given his position. So I think you can make a rational case for either of them. If Day'Ron Sharpe starts, he looks good again. I know he was not good last time out and didn't play a ton of minutes, but I imagine that if Claxton and Aldridge is already out, that Sharpe will play a lot against a, big Memphis front court a big New Orleans front court with J-Val. Sorry, I got my ears confused with J-Val for a second. So yeah, assuming Sharpe starts, he's wildly in play. The Nets aren't really a team I'm like overly excited about though. More of the same for the Pels. I touched on Ingram a little bit ago, and his price is now up to 9,200. Not that he's a bad play, but he's not like the value he was at 8K or 8,100. Josh Hart's price is up to 7K. My favorite piece of New Orleans is going to be J-Val. Again, undermanned and undersized Brooklyn front court. Valanciunas should eat here. Very affordable, 8,300. Sandwiched between Nurk and Jokic. I don't think he gets that much love, and I like him a ton. So he's my favorite play from this game. Philly and Miami. Miami won a nice game last night. I mentioned they were trailing Atlanta for a lot of that game. Ended up coming back to win. Philly's also playing good ball. From the Heat perspective, Bam's still out. Oladipo's still out. I mentioned Butler came back last night. Dropped 48 in his return. Wouldn't be surprised to see something similar from him here. It's not a good spot on paper, but I love Butler and get up spots like this against his old team. Joel Embiid. I like Butler a lot. If I'm making one lineup, it's really hard to prioritize him because he's 9,800, but I do like him a ton, and I also like Embiid a lot in that same vein. So, again, not a great spot on paper. This game does not scream DFS upside, but Embiid and Butler are dogs, and they love going at each other, and I could see them both absolutely balling here. So those would be the two guys I'm interested in from this game. Far from locks, though, just given how many good plays there are on this slate. Cleveland and OKC. So OKC is a team I have no interest in. They're basically healthy and priced where they should be. Shai is in good form right now. He's now backed up to close to 9K, though, so far from a lock. I mean, give me Garland on the other side. And as far as the Cavs go, all these guys are in play. None of them are musts. Garland's my favorite. When they're all healthy, no one stands out when they're priced, around the 8K range, but they're all very affordable for their upside on any given day. So Allen looks good at 8K. Mobley looks good at 7,300. Garland's my favorite at 7,900. Back-to-back 50 spots. I like him quite a bit here. I mean, what's not to like? He's playing fantastic ball in a great spot against the Thunder. Bulls and Celtics. So far as Boston goes, Marcus Smart's questionable, but that's basically it. Not interested in basically anyone from Boston. Tatum and Brown are fine plays. Their prices are fine at 9K and 9,100, 9,300, but again, so many good plays on this slate. I can't see myself locking these guys in at all. The Bulls are a little bit more appealing just because Levine is out and Lonzo Ball's questionable. If Lonzo Ball happens to miss, Kobe White probably becomes a lock. Already wildly in play with Levine out, 5,200. The Bulls have gotten routed in back-to-back games. I expect a better effort from them here. I think that DeRozan and Vooch also look really good. And probably DeRozan might get love, and I like him more than Vooch. It's hard to get to Vooch on this slate with Nurk and Jokic and J-Val and Embiid, who I talked about. That said, Vooch's usage is going to go up a lot with no Levine, even with no Lonzo. So I prefer DeRozan, easier to get to. Vooch also wildly in play. But my favorite play from this game is my favorite two plays are DeRozan and Kobe White, depending on the Lonzo Ball situation. All right, 3 games left. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back with you. So 3 games left. We've got the Clippers at the Spurs. This should be a decent game from a DFS perspective. Spurs lost last night to the Cavs. Derek White is still questionable. That's basically it. Trey Jones is questionable also. Dejounte Murray continues to just flat out ball. He's expensive at 10-6. So, again, a lot of good point guards tonight. Talked about Dinwiddie, Simons, James Harden. I like Murray. Probably don't get to him tonight. And then other guys from San Antonio, with him in, with all these guys in, not really excited about anyone here. Much of the same with the Clippers. They don't excite me basically at all. Reggie, no thanks. Marcus Morris, I could see taking a shot on at 67, but that's probably too pricey. Amir Coffey's pricey. No thanks on the Clippers here. Probably don't get much from this game at all, to be quite honest. Lakers and Nuggets. This should be a good one. The Nuggets, obviously, no Jamal Murray, no Michael Porter. Most of their other guys are back, though. When you talk about Denver, it starts and ends with Jokic. Didn't have to play much against Portland. He's the best fantasy player in the world right now, so he looks great tonight at 10-6. He's certainly a fade at your own risk if you don't use him. Ton to like about him here. I like him quite a bit. Other guys from Denver. Will Barton, good spot at 5,900. I don't mind him. AG had that one great game in LA against the Clippers. Other than that, he's been so meh. It's Jokic or bust for me. Campazzo's at 4K. Fine. They got filler pieces, but really it's about Jokic. And it's about LeBron from the Lake Show. So these guys are tough fades here. I think both LeBron and Jokic could absolutely ball. Malik Monk continues to play really good ball. I don't think he's out of play at 6,500. I like him more if Melo's out. It's all about LeBron and Malik Monk for me, I think, here. Don't hate Austin Reeves either at 3,400 if Melo's out. They need his three-point shooting. If you need a cheap filler piece and you want exposure to this game, you could do worse. But really, it's about LeBron and Jokic for me here, as it probably should be, and that's obvious to most. All right, Orlando and Dallas starting a late game, latest game on the slate, 9:30. Both these teams played last night. A lot of back-to-backs tonight. Nice win for the Mavs over Memphis last night. Luka showed out, put up 58 DK points. Really good spot for the Mavs here. It's hard to want to prioritize any of them, though, when Luka's in. I like Luka. If you think Orlando can hang in this game, Luka should absolutely eat. So I prefer Jokic. I prefer LeBron. Talked about Embiid and Butler, but Luka's fine. If that's where you want to go, do your thing. And then as far as Orlando goes, Suggs came back in the mix last night, played 22 minutes, played well in those 22 minutes. Cole Anthony did not play so well. I got no issues going right back to my man Cole Anthony here. I'm a huge fan. Really cheap for his upside. Even in a not great spot, Dallas is very slow. Then the other guy I think we got to look at is Robin Lopez. If Carter and Bamba are out, we go right back to Rolo here. Obviously wasn't very good last night, but in spots like this, we've seen him play 30-plus minutes and drop 30-plus DK points routinely. Didn't happen last night. I'd have no issue going right back there, assuming those guys are out, or presuming those guys are out. If those guys are in, no thank you. It is hard to want to use a center spot on him. That's the only thing I'll say. Sorry, guys. Had to sneeze for a second. All right, so let's do a little bit of building. Obviously, it's tough without knowing the full extent. And what I'll say is there isn't a lot of like really cheap value I love. So let's go to DeAndre Hunter. I can't assume those guys are out for Orlando. Let's go. I feel like you want Jokic and Bron. Wow, LeBron is only center eligible now. That's wild. Damn. So to play, golly, he's expensive to boot. Or forget these guys for now. Let's go a different way. Give me J-Val. Give me Dinwiddie. Boy, Simons. Nice shooting guard eligibility helps there. Hunter. I didn't mention the Chicago is going to have some cheap guys. That's for sure. For now, though, forget about these cheap guys. Let's go DeMar. So now I got 54 left here. I mean, that's easily doable. Another guy I liked a lot is Randall, though. A lot of good plays tonight. This can be done. Again, you're not going to love your last two pieces, but such is life when you have a build like this. I also like Darius Garland a lot. So, again, you could go cheap power forward and then go Garland here. Skip out on DeRozan. Yeah, a lot of ways to go. As always, it's a full 9-game Saturday night NBA slate. Wanted to get this out early for you guys. Ryan and I made the NFL Saturday video, made it free to the public, so go check that out if you haven't. Me and him will also be getting on here later this afternoon to make the Sunday NFL slate. So look forward to that. I'm excited to make that with him. It's been too long. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you have a great rest of your Saturday. I appreciate you as always. Click that thumbs up button if you would. And if you want more content, more videos, more me, more Ryan, more Patriot, any of that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. We'd love to have you. Thanks again, guys.